All right, welcome everybody. This is Jeff Fulmer with Fusionware and Doug Cox, and we are going to be going through orders and some helps with creating some duplicates today, linking orders and managing templates, and also going through transportation integrations. So the goal with the orders and linking and some of these things is just to save you time. And so for you companies that have hundreds of orders you're putting in a day, being able to do this in a very quick and efficient manner is huge. And so we've added tools and tips and tricks that have been around for a while, but we thought it'd be good to review those. Let me go ahead and start sharing my screen. Make sure everyone can see this fine. There we go. You see that good there, Doug?
Yep.
Okay. So to begin with, we're just in our test company here, and I am going to go into the order board. And we'll first start with creating a duplicate. So this is the easiest way to copy information over. This is a one-time. You just have an order. You're going to be putting in another one, or multiple ones of that specific order, and you just want to quickly do that. And so we're going to do that here with this order, this one that ends in 169. And so we can do that either inside of the order, or we can do it out here. Oops, sorry, we do have to do it inside the order. And so we're going to come in here to options, and we're going to duplicate it. And so this is a notification. So you have to have a PO number, and we are going to do ABC for a PO number. So the reason for that is because it's going to append that PO number so that these are all follow. It'll go ABC -1, 2, 3. So however many you have is going to add that to that PO number. So duplicate order, and we're going to do total number of duplicates. And let's say we want to make 5 of these. And so now we're going to have these PO orders. So this one that we created, we're going to add a 1 to it, and we will go ahead and duplicate that.
One of the things that I want to mention here too is, be aware that when you go in and duplicate it, it really shouldn't have just one. So think of the total number. You're going to have one that you're duplicating, but you want a total number of 4 or a total number of 2 orders. You're going to have to select that. If you just don't think of it as having one and then just duplicating it once, because you can't really do a 1. So make sure that you're always above 2.
Yeah. Yep. And so there's a few things here, and this is something that can get kind of confusing. So we didn't duplicate an order. I think that was an older order, but you'll notice here what's happened. And if you don't have, I'm going to remove this. One thing we run into all the time is someone will duplicate that order, and all of a sudden they come back and the order board changes. And so what's happening is, if you click on the magnifying glass, you'll see that we have logic in here, because the idea is you're wanting to look at your duplicates. And so, but it just is based on your date formats. And so you'll notice, because we had different date formats, so the ideal thing is, first we're going to clear out those dates so that we make sure to get all of these in here. And then, but now we can see all of these orders. So that was the original one, that 169 that we wanted to duplicate. And then we have these others. But yes, so whatever number you put in there, like Doug was saying, that's going to be your total number. So you can't just do one. It's got to be more than that. So, but just something to remember, it's always going to put in the PO number up here. And if you're done with these orders, You don't need to modify them. The nice thing is, if there's different modifications on each of these orders, you've got them all right here. You can quickly dive into them and make those adjustments. But I'm going to go ahead and just clear that out, and now I can go back to today, and we have everything in here. So just a few little quirky things there with the date, and just making sure to clear that out, and you should be able to see those correctly. So creating templates. Templates is a very powerful way to be able to create orders in advance. So we have a lot of customers that will go in and put TBD in for a destination, or put TBD in as a carrier, and then or different line items, and then create that as a template, and then they can go in and continue to reproduce orders. But let me jump in to this order here. And so we've created like a TBD product. So let's say we've got this Walmart order. They're always ordering 40 count. And we don't know what the next order is going to be, but we know that they're always going to have 2. And so we can create a product that has TBD in it as a placeholder. You can do that for your customer, for your destination, broker. So those are some things that people will do, and then create that as a template and go back and fill it in later. One other option is, so if let's say we create this, we're going to change these quantities to 0 because we don't know what our quantities are going to be. And now I'm going to first accept this. And then I'm going to create a new template off of this. And we're going to call this Jeff's template. If I can spell correctly. So now we've got the success message. And you'll notice now we are in the order template. So we are out of that order that was on the order board, and we're now in the order template. So I'm going to go back here into our order board, and I'm going to add a new order. Now in the add order, I can just select that template. So Jeff's template. So now the only thing I have to do to get this order going is select the dates. Ship date, delivery date is all that's required. And I'm going to go ahead and accept this order. And so now you'll see I've got the TBD product in here, and I've got the quantities of 0. Let's say I know my quantity of 420. So this is super helpful if you have multiple lines. Let's say that there's 10 products, and anywhere from 5 to 10 are used on a traditional order, like in this case to Walmart. Just leave the quantities of 0 that you're not going to be using, and we have this clear button down here that you can select once you've got all of your products in that you want, and we can clear these out. And it's going to clear out all your lines when I do a refresh. It's going to clear out all of your lines that have 0 for quantity. And so super helpful if you have multiple lines, but that's just a quick way to be able to create your templates. And if you want to manage templates, you've been using them and you don't have to create a new one necessarily. You can go into orders and order templates. Now I can come back into this order template that we had just created, and let's say I want to change something on it. I can go and remove that line item. I'm still in the order template area, and now when I go to create a new order, oh, that date. So now you'll see that it's already made those changes, so you can modify your templates as well, so you don't have to delete and recreate them. And finally, I'm going to go back here into our order board. Something else that we get asked a lot is, how do we identify? It's easy when you have 2 orders right in a row. You know, like in this case, this 31 and 32. here in the middle of the screen, these two orders, one's a PO order. We know that because it's in pink. And also there's PO right here in pink. And then let's say this is an order. I bought a product from one vendor, and then I'm selling it to a customer, but I want to make sure, because it's the same product, that these two orders are linked. When they're right next to each other, it's not as difficult, but you start spreading things out over multiple days and multiple orders. So we have just simply here in the options, you can come in and select the link orders. And so now these are both green, and when you highlight them, they hover yellow, but you can also see in here now in either of these orders that you can jump back and forth. So 3-1 and back into 3-2, and then on the order board. And so even if they're not next to each other and they're on the same screen, you'll see them both highlight yellow in different spots. So any questions or anything to add, Doug?
I was going to say, a lot of times the linking of orders is used in a couple of different ways. Some people will want to use the linking of orders that when you have two different customers that are riding on a single truck, you'll want to link those together so that that's what they're going to do, is they're going to ride together or something like that. But another way that some people use that is, let's say I have an order that I send into a place and it gets rejected, and I need to have something to do. I need to have something to do with it, with part of the load, or I have to create another sales order that has a different customer on it, because they're the ones that are going to be reworking it, or and you're going to have a different receivable from it, different things like that, and so you may need to have the original order as well as that second order. And so you can link those together and say, this was the rejected one, and this is the one that you ended up getting paid on, and stuff like that. So those are a couple of reasons why you would want to link. The other thing is that I wouldn't mind touching on the duplicate orders and on the order templates. You'll find that the comments do not flow over onto those. And the reason behind that is we make it so that you can go in and on like these orders here, you can set comments for just Walmart, and you can set comments for just the origin or the destination. So these three places are already pulling in comments that are automated. Well, if I put those same comments, or I put those comments over here on my template or my duplicate orders, I'm going to double up on every comment that gets put in. And so we don't generally pull these in from a template or a duplicate because it's pulling in from these different locations in the settings. And so that's the only things that I wanted to touch on.
Perfect.
Okay. With regards to the orders and the stuff that we're doing here. So
perfect. So yeah, those are a couple of quick tips and tricks on orders and duplication, especially this time of year when shipping, especially we get into the holiday season and you're getting the same orders for the same customers in bulk, and don't do them one at a time. But if you got problems or questions, feel free to reach out to us. But the other thing we're going to be covering today is on the transportation integrations. And so an integration is simply a Fusionware being able to talk to and connect with another platform, whether that be hardware or software. And so there are 3 transportation integrations that we currently have now, and some of them are still in beta testing, but we do have certain customers that are using them. And then some of these do have associated fees with them, or additional monthly costs. But before we go on, looks like Alicia has a question here. So she says, Doug, a side note about linking orders, could we somehow display them together in our Power BI report? So to show that a order is linked. Is that a possibility?
So there is a flag in there inside the database that I haven't pulled into some of these outside reports yet. Is it possible? Yes, it is totally possible. We would just need to look into pulling what it's linked to and that it's linked, and we should be able to pull those into some of those Power BI reports.
Okay, very good. All right, so yeah, Doug, if you want to hit on some of these transportation integrations that we have.
Absolutely. So what we kind of wanted to go over, and we wanted to make sure we emphasize this, we are really trying as hard as we can to pull in some of these different companies that specialize in certain areas. And so, like, especially in transportation, there are different companies out there that really specialize in, maybe it's tracking the truck while it's in transit, or maybe it's just making sure that the carrier has all of its insurance and is up to date on all of its inspections and stuff like that. There's several different ones out there, and maybe it's just a matter of I need to track something with a different map other than Google. So Fusion, with the way that it uses its mileage, it actually uses Google or MapQuest to run the miles in each of the orders. It takes the address from the origin and the destination, and then it runs the miles inside there, inside Google and MapQuest. Well, what Google and MapQuest don't really realize is they're thinking that you're in a car and not a semi. And so their PC Miler is more truck related, and the routes that it goes and chooses is going to be more centralized around the trucking community. And so as we go in and we try to use some of these outside sources to bring in to help, broaden our company out. We do have some of these paid tiers that if you see something in here that you think would help your company out, we have a few extra fees for them. And if you go into the company profiles and the integrations here,
and that's simply because it costs us money.
Correct.
So we're just kind of passing those extra costs to us along. We've already done the development and gone through all of that. So essentially it's just paying to keep that connected, because we have to turn around and pay PC Miler and My Carrier Packets and these other companies to be able to be connected to them. So.
Yep. So the ones that I just wanted to touch on today is PC Miler, as well as My Carrier Packets, and then MacroPoint. These are the three that we were going to touch on today and just kind of give you an idea of what they actually do. So PC Miler, you come in and it's just going to run your routes according to what the trucking industry says, and so you'll get a different mileage between your origin and destination than you would with like Google or MapQuest, like I was saying earlier. And so that's one of the biggest points around this. I know some companies use this because their customer requires it, because the customer is paying based on mile, and it's going to use the PC Miler's mileage charts rather than Google. And the other reason is for fuel surcharges. When they're quoting their lanes out with that fuel surcharge, they want to go off of one based company's miles. And so and most of them are using this PC Miler to do that. The second thing is that we wanted to go through is My Carrier Packets. Now, these two, My Carrier Packets and MacroPoint, these two are companies that you would actually have to go and buy a subscription with them. And then what they would do is they would give you some certifications, or they would give you logins and stuff like that, where you would come in to here and actually enter them in here. And then inside the system, it would do some things here. I'm going to jump over to our help menu here. If you go to our help center, you can see some of the things that we're integrating with. And so you can see all of these different things, scales, fusion to fusion printers, barcodes, accounting softwares. The one we're going to go over is the TMS. And so you can see here's my carrier packets. And if you click on this, it's going to just take us down through what the setup is like and what it's going to do for you. And so you can get in here and see all of the different things that you're going to do. My carrier packets basically goes out and does all of the background checks and making sure that they have their insurance, and it's all based off of their MC and DOT numbers. And so the carrier will go into my carrier packets and they'll get an email telling them, hey, if you're going to haul for this company, you need to sign up with my carrier packets, and he'll send them everything. They'll actually send all of their documents. So you'll get your authority, your insurance, and your certificate of ownership, basically, of the company. And it'll pull all of those right into Fusion. So it'll be at your fingertips inside Fusion. When this will run, I think it's like every 10 minutes or so. And so anytime you get a new carrier that you're wanting to put on a load, you'll send them the information, they'll send it back, and it'll be available to you within the, once he gets everything turned in, it'll be available to you within 10 minutes or so. And it'll actually go in and create the carrier inside Fusion. And then anytime that the carrier has issues or something like that, so you have this overall acceptance, and if everything is acceptable, it will make it so that you can book this on here. But if something becomes unacceptable, it will flag the order. And when it flags the order, you go to put that carrier on an order, it'll pop up a notification to you saying, hey, this truck has been flagged. Do you want to proceed, basically? And anyway, it'll make it so that you verify it before you put it on that order. It will also throw in a factoring company if that carrier is using a factoring company. But when it creates the carrier, it's not gonna put the is approved signal. You actually have to go in and actually approve that carrier. So there's several different checks that are happening as a new carrier comes on board to haul your product. Went over that, but it also puts in the dates for your liability, for your insurance. And so once it's out of date, if they haven't updated with my carrier packets, it'll say that these are out of date, and it won't allow you to put those on the order as well. And so it's just a way of protecting you as a shipper, that you're getting the good carriers to carry your product. The last one here is MacroPoint. MacroPoint is a tracking software that they go in and they will actually track your truck, and you'll get updates. I think you can actually set how often you get the updates. Again, you do have to go in and sign up and get a license with MacroPoint. But it allows you to go in, and every carrier that you track, they usually use the cell phone, but they'll ping that every 30 minutes. And so you can actually get updates on your loads as it's going to the destination. You'll be able to click on a button inside Fusion that says send a MacroPoint, and it will then show that it's been accepted and that it's active. And then as soon as it's delivered, it marks the order as delivered once it leaves. And this is the email that you'll get. But a lot of this stuff, you'll kind of go down through here and see what it's doing here. And then if you have questions, more questions on it, on the pricing and stuff like that, we'll just have you reach out to Craig and some of the staff here at FusionWare, and they'll be able to talk you through most of this. What was that? Sorry,
I was
Jeff.
just saying that's the text that goes to the driver. So if the driver has never used, that, so they essentially MacroPoint is an application that the driver has to download on their phone, and then with the location services going, so that's the initial text that they will get to download the app, and then as that driver's driving, it's pinging his cell phone and his location. So, but that's where these tracking comments and those pings are coming from, is from the driver's cell phone itself through the MacroPoint app.
So yeah, that's pretty much all I had to go over today as far as the integrations and stuff like that. So please reach out if you have any questions on this or anything else. We're more than happy to help.